always want to be a doctor?
The subtle message is that you are the next generation who have to take
over the business.
Take over. So there's no other options that is before you.
If it was not dentistry, then what would you be?
I would have been a businessman, because my grandfather from my maternal side was a very successful businessman and very wealthy. I got an opportunity in Dubai as a visiting orthodontist, and that's how it started. Yeah.
When did you make from 1 to 2? How did you start multiplying?
There was a lot of struggle at that time because we lost a lot of money in the initial, and I realized at some point I can't continue this all by myself.
What were some of the wrong decisions you took that were struggles or mistakes that you fixed and it's not good?
Oh, I made so many mistakes. You can't go without it. I have learned so much from my failures, more than my successes.
When was the time when you decided to stop practicing?
So that was a very, very tough decision to do because I was having a roaring practice, to be honest. But then it reached a certain point when I realized that it's either this or that, I can't do both.
Yes.
With things. The other problem, what happens is that you expect everyone to do as good as how you do it, and which did not happen.
Did you come up with the SOPs or you hired people to do the SOPs?
Having the system is one thing, but getting people to follow it is
that's another
totally
ball game
different.
altogether.
But then that's the thing about being an entrepreneur, you need to learn so many things. Being an entrepreneur is not easy. Let me be at least for me.
Today, we are joined by Dr. Joy Antony, the founder and managing director of Dr. Joy Dental Clinics. What started as a single clinic in Dubai back in 2004 has grown into a network of 13 clinics with over 350 employees, including more than 80 plus dentists in his fleet. Dr. Joy is a third-generation dentist with a passion for orthodontics and known for being the first Invisalign diamond provider in the region with 1,000 plus successful cases. His remarkable achievements have also earned him a recognition as one of the top 100 business leaders from India in the Gulf. Additionally, his brand Dr. Joy Dental Clinics has been recognized as a super brand, reflecting its excellence and trust within the community. His journey is a great example of how vision, hard work, and innovation can lead to success in business. Welcome to the Forward Thinking People podcast, and I'm your host, Namita Ramani. Dr. Joy, welcome again to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. And thank you for your wonderful words.
Thank you so much. And I just got to know that this is the first podcast that you're going to be appearing on. So from first to many more.
I hope so. Thank you so much.
So, I was researching on the question. You're the third generation dentist. And I was actually thinking when I was drafting my questions for our conversations on how I want to flow it, did you always want to be a doctor? Or was it forced on you?
I think neither. It's just that our generation, when we were young, it's not like the kids now. So it was pretty much you watch your grandfather and then your father in the clinic practicing. It's like the subtle message is that you are the next generation who have to take
over the business.
Take over. So there's no other options that is before you. That's the thing.
Yeah. Where in India are you from?
I'm from Cochin.
Okay.
Cochin,
and
yes.
your parents, your father and your grandfather, they all had the practices in Cochin?
In Cochin itself, yes.
Okay.
So, yeah,
and you were brought up to be doctor, you have to be a doctor or dentist in particular.
But the subtle message is that, you know what, this is how you need to work and get into practice, and you need to go to dental school. So, it's just a subtle
part of the
growing up, yes.
If it was not dentistry, what were your other interests? I'm just curious. If it was not dentist, then what would you be?
I would have been a businessman, honestly.
Which you are already
Which
now.
I am. By now I am. But from childhood, I was very passionate about, it interested me a lot because my grandfather from my maternal side was a very successful businessman and very wealthy. So I always saw that he was much richer than my, my dentist father or my grandfather. So he was my role model. Yeah.
So the money attracted you to becoming a businessman?
The money and the entrepreneur, he was a very nice character in the sense he was a real businessman, and he knew how to manage people, and he knew how to start. He had multiple businesses. So I was to go visit him. We used to spend our holidays with him. So he was a great influence on me. So from childhood, the dream was always never to be a dentist, but to be an entrepreneur, to be honest.
Interesting. And how did you choose to come to Dubai? Why didn't you choose USA or UK or any other country in the world? Why Dubai?
So
Or UAE?
to be honest, my first goal was USA to get into US at that time. But then I went there and I got into a program for 3 months, and somehow it didn't work out, to be honest. And it was at those days it was very difficult, very expensive too, and so it didn't work out. And then the next best
So you're
option
trying to
was,
get a job in USA, in,
You know,
in a
trying to
medical
g-
center.
No, to trying to get
Open
into
a business.
program. No, study dentist. After my BDS, my
Right,
graduate
okay.
dentistry, my idea was to do my post-graduation there. But
Right.
it didn't work out. It was too expensive, and it was very limited seats. So I spent 3 months and then came back
Okay.
to Cochin, started my own practice. Wasn't too happy there. You know, working with your father first, and then I opened my own practice. I always wanted to get out, of the place. So then I got an opportunity in Dubai as a visiting orthodontist, and then I just grabbed it, came here, and then that's how it started. Yeah.
Wow, it has been an amazing journey from one clinic in 2004 to now 13 clinics and a
Yeah.
sub-brand. I'm going to come to that
Yes.
one by one. So can you share with me how were the early years of setting up business? It's always like Dubai has been a very entrepreneurial country, UAE in particular. They support startups and entrepreneurs and in general business growth. How was the early years of setting up a business here?
It was pretty. Dubai those days was different. I'm talking about 2004. I mean, the city was small, and there was a lot more opportunity, and there weren't many clinics at that time. So I think I was at the right time, at the right place. So it was easy to start a clinic. But of course, with the first clinic we started, it was very small. It was just two.
Where was that clinic?
That
the
was in
first-
Karama, the first
Right.
one, and there was just 2 dental rooms there at that time.
And you were practicing doctor at that time.
I was practicing, yeah. So even though I'm an orthodontist, I was practicing. I was doing everything except for implants. So I was practicing like from morning till evening.
Yeah.
So it was it was a lot of hard work at that time. Yeah.
And then when did you make from 1 to 2? How did you start multiplying them?
Yeah. So then after the first one, then an opportunity. I thought I wanted to open one more, and then we saw Murdiff at that time. Murdiff was a very
But why open one more? You wanted to grow? You want like the reason? Because that means you have to work. You can't be in 2 places.
Yeah, that's right. So to be honest, I had a friend also who wanted to,
Join
me at that, and said, "Why don't I partner with you guys and open one in Murdiff?" He was living at Murdiff at that time, so we just went there. And Murdiff was a sleepy town at that time. I went, I searched, I found a place. But then there was a lot of struggle at that time because we lost a lot of money in the initial time. The rents were too high at that time. Dubai, Murdiff was very slow. So that was a big phase where we were really struggling. But then slowly, gradually, we got over it. And then we moved on to the next branches, yeah.
So from Murdiff, you went to the next. You opened one more.
Yeah. So
Even
then
though it was a struggle, you
No.
decided to.
No, so we initially it was struggle, and
But
then what
eventually it
happened?
picked up.
Then my partner, he left. He said he doesn't want it because he had enough of the losses. So I had to pay him off, and he left. And then because I'm an orthodontist, I was going in both these clinics. And then again after the recession happened in 2008, and all these things started picking up. People started moving in, and that's when I said, okay, let me just start more. So then what happened is I started employing more dentists under me, and I realized at some point, I can't continue this all by myself. So that's when I got more dentists to join me, and then we slowly started growing from there. Then we opened the Burjuman branch.
The third one.
The third one was in Jumeirah branch.
Okay.
So that was also a big story. It was in the midst of the recession in 2008. And so I said, I need to go to Jumeirah, Al Wasl Road somewhere.
Yeah.
So we found this place, and that's when recession happened. And everyone was saying, it's crazy to open now this place. But,
The
I said,
rents must have fallen at that time,
no, when I
right?
took it, it was high. And then after that, the recession happened.
That was bad luck.
So we wanted to give it up.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things whether if we should continue and all that. Anyways, went ahead with it. It was a big villa. It was just me and 2 dentists. But that was a good move at that time. That was one of the best moves I ever did, because there was
You
not.
decided to take risk.
Yeah, it was a huge risk at that time because there are not many clinics in that area, and most of the clinics were very well established. They've been there for so many years, so they had this set clientele, and we were like the new kid on the block. But that paid off very well. Then I employed some dentists, and but my practice was very busy at that time, so that helped kind of cushion the expenses and all that. And from there, we took off. Yeah.
You mentioned the struggles, like you took that risk. What made you decide to take risk? You could have lost more money and eventually would have to shut down with all those losses. You know why I'm asking, like, what makes us do it? Take the risk because you believe that this is the right thing to do. You believe that it will grow eventually.
Yeah.
Plus, you already had Mardif and you had Karama, which were started doing well already at that time.
Yes. We were doing.
And then from third to 11, like how did you jump there?
Yeah. So that's been a progressive journey, you know. So, like I said, when you have that mindset, you know, when you want to, you know, keep on progressing and doing more, there is a risk, and of course, it's not easy. There are times when you go to bed and you can't sleep. You're like, "What am I doing?" You know.
Yeah.
So, but I always have that kind of thing. I am a kind of a risk taker in terms of, you know, I've been doing some other thing, dabbling my hands in real estate, things like that. So it gives you a kind of an adrenaline, you give you a kick out of it, you know, when you're trying this. So it might not be the best thing to do always. You might have losses, but then you come out of it and then you take the next risk. And sometimes some of them pays off, some doesn't pay off. But ultimately, what matters is how you come out at the end, you know. And whether at least majority of it pays off, and hopefully, and you're still not down.
Yeah. When I have to take big risks, whether it comes to real estate or business, I think what's the worst can happen? What's the worst will I lose?
That's true. I realized out of all the mistakes I've done, you know, many I've realized, I never want to risk anything that is going to really kind of, you know, leave me in a place where I just can't come back again. You know what I mean? So you don't want to risk so much that you lose your entire business or your name or reputation. So anything that's you can probably take and still, even if you lose it, you can come back is kind of fine.
Would you like to share some of the mistakes? I'm sure, as you know, because you have grown so well in these 20 years, almost 20 years now. Because I started in 2004 as well. And you've expanded so much. And like you said, you know, as a business owner, we do take decisions. And sometimes they are not the right decisions, but we still do it. We learn, fix, and move. What were some of the wrong decisions you took that were struggles or mistakes that you fixed? And it's not good.
Oh, I mean, so many mistakes. Honestly,
Take the one which was the most close to you. A few maybe you can share. Because that's where the learning is. That's where the growth is. That's where the messages.
Mistakes. I've done mistakes in real estate investments. You know that we've all done that. When the peak was there, you bought, and then it crashed. There's so many, and then even in the dental my business, I have done. I mean, we all do mistakes in making wrong hires, signing wrong contracts, or you trust someone and then they kind of let you down and you lose a lot financially and everything. So these are all part of your journey as an entrepreneur, right? Yeah. You can't go without it. But I think your failures also teach you a lot, isn't it? I have learned so much from my failures, more than my successes, to be honest. Because every time I go through a failure, I said, now why did this happen? I kind of reflect on it. So next time something like that happens, I know I'm prepared for that. So I think that's part of everyone's journey.
Yeah. I remember when we met recently and I asked you believe in investing in your learning and growth. What are some things that you did that helped you? Like one of the things you shared that you stopped practicing. When was the time when you decided to stop practicing?
Oh, yeah. So that was a very, very tough decision to do because I was having a roaring practice, to be honest. So I was working 6 days, then I brought it down to 5 days. Then I had to step back to 4 days. So it was a gradual, decrease in my practicing that happened. But then it reached a certain point when I realized that it's either this or that. I can't do both. It was driving me out the wall. And because I was practicing, my business growth was kind of curtailed.
Because you're busy doing the job.
Yeah, absolutely. So, even though you have a team and all that, no one cares for the business as much as you do. You're the owner.
It's your name.
It's your name on the wall. So then when I took that decision to completely stop my practice, and that's when I really saw the change. that happened. It was a dramatic change, and I was kicking myself and saying, "Oh my God, I should have done this much earlier." You know what I mean? Yeah.
But then, to the other side, you reached there because of you, because you were so passionate, because you gave that perfection in every treatment that you did. I was reading some of your Google reviews, and you have like almost 4.8 star reviews for all the branches.
Yeah.
So it shows that there's so much attention to detail. And as an owner or as a business owner, when you start hiring people to start getting your time back from business, you have to trust your employees or team members or staff to do the job as well as you do, right?
That's true.
How did you manage to get that level of good service for your clients or customers who are coming to you with the name and the trust of Dr. Joy, and making sure your team is delivering in the same passion that you do? How did you achieve that?
Well, that was a big struggle, to be honest. I mean, the only way we could do this is by training constantly and having systems and protocols. But it wasn't easy, to be honest. I remember the days I used to spend so many hours just training new staff, making sure, because when you're a sole entrepreneur, what happened, you did everything from scratch, and you have a feeling that you know better than anyone else, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and then what happens is that you find it very difficult to let go with things. The other problem, what happens is that you expect everyone to do as good as how you do it, and which will not happen most of the time. And that kinds of, especially if you're a control freak like me, sometimes it stresses you out. So it was a huge problem. So then you read books, you go through so many things, and then you realize it's not worth losing your sleep over this. As long as that person does at least 80% of what you expect, you just have to accept it. But I think the main, the way to run that business and how we could do this is having systems. We know that, you can't just run a business by, having no protocols and systems. So we had a lot of protocol systems in place, making sure that everyone knows them and making sure everyone is following them. That's the only key, I think.
Yeah. You mentioned books. Like, I know when I was, as the years are passing, as you are growing as a business, books, you resort to these conferences. Do you believe in having mentors and coaches?
So I've gone to so many of them, to be honest. I would say about 50 to 60% of where I am or what I am today is because of the mentors, which I've read their books or attended their conferences or even been, coaching, online coaching, because there's only so much that we know, right, about business. I've not had a formal business training anywhere.
Right.
So I've been a voracious reader, and also, following all these big business leaders. And they all teach you something, isn't it? Yeah. Every book. So at any point of time, I'm at least reading 2 or 3 books.
Yeah. What are you reading now? I'm just curious.
Right now, I'm reading a book called Buy Back Your Time. Yeah. Okay. It's an amazing book. Oh, my God. It's an amazing book. Yeah. So
it teaches you how to get your time back and not...
Get your time back, exactly.
And how do you get your time back?
Yeah, it's a very simple concept where he says that, you just have to assess your every hour how much your time is worth. And then if you see that, if you can outsource that at half or 1/4 of the cost, it's better to outsource it. So a simple example is your inbox, mail inbox. So I have my inbox, and everyone in my company, for some, even things which I'm not required to know, they just want to copy me on it. Just to show that they're doing the job properly. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I have my flood of emails every day, and this kind of stresses out because no way I can keep on top of that. So after reading this book, I decided to give up my inbox to my personal assistant. It was a huge decision because it's something that you hold privately, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but then I said, enough is enough. Let me just give it to her. And that's what he's told in the book. First thing, give your email inbox. And I did this about 2 weeks back. Trust me, my life is so much more relaxed. So now she sorts out all my emails, puts in different folders. And in the morning, I just spend about 20, 30 minutes going through the ones which I have to attend to. I tell her, this is what you do. Just respond. It's done. So it's just these things, how to make your life better.
I want to know more of these things that you're doing. I think after this, I'm going to consider having a PA too. I think it's time.
You should. I believe that's the first thing you should do. I've had one for now about 6 years now. Yeah.
And how does I want to know more of these things that you did, like how this is freeing up your time.
Yeah.
Training and protocols. Did you come up with the SOPs, or you hired people to do the SOPs?
No, I did it myself. Yeah. So I
Because
went to
it's-
these clinics, huge clinics in the US and all that. I've visited them. So I've met these business owners, and they're pretty good at these stuff, So they told us you need to have systems. And then you read these books, so many books. Without systems, you can't run a business.
I think E-Myth, is it?
E-Myth is a very good, by
E-Myth
Gerber.
Mastery.
Yes, E-Myth. So he talks about it. There are so many books on the systems and OKRs and protocols. So, we have systems for everything. But having the system is one thing, but getting people to follow it is
That's another
totally
ball game
different.
altogether.
Totally different thing. Yeah.
So one of the things we did, so we as an agency, we have different departments. We have the graphic design, the copy,
Yeah.
the ad execs,
Yeah.
and everybody's jobs are related. If the copywriter has to give the copy, then it goes to the graphic designer. The design comes, then it goes to the ad exec. And if anybody falls or slows down, the other person's task is affected, and we don't meet our deadlines.
Right.
So we got a system called Basecamp, which is task management system. Put the task, tag the people, and then we can see what's happening and where the delay is. If somebody is not responded in time.
Yeah, we've
But
got a
to
similar
make-
one. Yeah.
yeah.
Different Monday.
Softwares, yeah, okay. It's the same. These are all the similar softwares that they do the same thing, but that helps a lot. Like having these automated system, but then getting people to forcing people to use it, your team to use it.
Yeah. Just accountability, isn't it? They're held accountable for the tasks, which is good. Yeah.
Do you have something like, when you're managing 13 clinics, do you have something like morning meetings, and how do these clinics run like automatically?
So like I said, we have the system protocols, we have managers. Now we have a good management system that I've created.
Do they all have their targets?
Oh yeah. They have everything. They have reporting systems. We have all that structures put in. I have meetings on a weekly basis with my top line managers, and then on a monthly basis with the branch managers. So that's like any business, right? They need to know that we are monitoring things. There are targets set, and we meet on a regular basis. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things I read on one of your Instagram posts was managing people.
Yeah.
How has it been managing people? Like, because you're growing, now you have 80 plus, then 350 employees.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people that you're managing. And people, it's human beings, right? Expectations, growth, learning, financial growth. There's so much.
Absolutely.
How did you manage to get well at that? Please share with us your secrets.
No, so that's the biggest challenge. People
Managing
management
people.
is
Because at the end of the day, they are doing the job, and you're in a
Absolutely.
service industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So if they're not happy, they're not going to make the patient happy or the customer happy, and it's going to affect your reputation, isn't it?
Yeah.
So people management is something that there are different aspects to it. Financial is one. We also have the social emotional aspect of it, or we kind of reward them. We kind of give them, if they've done a good job, kind of appreciation. We create these appreciation awards. We have these small get-togethers where we meet together. Then training and also giving them, the prospect of growth in the company, which is something very important. So we always like to, when an employee comes in at a lower level probably, but we make sure that if we want to promote someone rather than hire from outside, we always give a chance from within. So there's so many different aspects to that, to keep people motivated within the company. Yes.
And this is something that you invested in learning again. Do you have people who do it, or?
No, we have an HR, complete HR. But then that's the thing about being an entrepreneur. You need to learn so many things. You got to learn about HR. You need to know about marketing. You need to, because all these different departments, when they talk to you, you still need to know
Everything. That's so important. Like I remember the other day when we met and we were discussing all these KPIs and CPCs and CTRs and. And you were talking my language. I'm like, wow, you know all of this as well.
That's
and
true.
That's
why books are so amazing. Yeah. So I was reading a book called The Talent War. Okay. It's all about HR, an amazing book. So and I was telling my HR, hey, listen, this is what we need to do now. This is how we need to, why are people leaving? We need to check this and So these are all the books. Yeah.
So, dentist is one job, which is one profession which is trust on the person.
That's
So
right.
for example, I go back in the days, until a couple of years back, when I had any tooth problem, I would go to India all the way to get it fixed. Now I go to this one dentist that I found. I trust him, and I would not let anyone else touch him. So much so that I was traveling, and I had a small issue, and I thought he was there, he's in town, but he was not. And there was some other doctor sitting. I'm like, no way you're touching. Just give me whatever medicine, make me survive for 10 days, and then doctor comes back, and I will go to him. So it's very focused on the person.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
tomorrow, if you have, I'm just curious, like, I'm sure there is a redundancy. People come, people go for whatever
Absolutely.
reasons. So does it happen that if someone is leaving your organization, the clients go with them? And how does that affect the profitability?
Oh, yes, that happens, of course. That's part of the business, But then when you're a brand like this, when we have more around systems and protocols and you're delivering the same quality of care and all that, it doesn't affect us so much because we have a very rigorous process of checking our dentists, the quality of care that they deliver. So a new dentist comes in and takes over. I mean, if they're good at their job, people also trust the brand to some extent. We have built that brand loyalty, So,
Do you think it was because you were involved initially?
yeah, I mean, the foundation started with me and it grew because I was doing everything in dentistry, cosmetics and orthodontics and everything. So, and then slowly, but it was a challenge for me to step back because patients wanted me at the time. They
Yes.
said, I want to see Dr. Joy.
Yeah.
And then that was a big challenge. But then that's how you have to evolve, right?
Yeah. You have to learn to delegate. And, as you grew from 3 clinics to now 11 clinics, I'm going to come back to Go Dental as a second brand. But like having operations managers, having the finance managers, when did you start bringing in all these things? Like when you were number 3, when you were at 3 clinics, that's when you started. Like, do you hire before growing, or you hire after? How does either you start hiring once you have, because there's a time, right?
Yeah.
There's a progression. So either you take the next clinic, then you hire someone, but then the training period is there, or you start hiring first when you have a vision. Okay, I want to, in 5 months, I'm going to open a new branch. So I need this much fleet more.
I mean, generally, for a clinic, when you expand, you always hire before because you need to train them, right?
yeah.
So that's for sure we did. Senior positions, sometimes we'll hire as and when we are expanding and we feel that we need to hire some top line manager or something, So, yeah, there's no real hard and fast rule that this is how it's done. So we just go with the flow, I think. Yeah.
How do you learn about these books and conferences? Like, how do you know what book to read to help you? Do you hear somewhere? Are you an avid podcast listener, or how do you get information about the kind of books you should read?
Yeah, so right now I'm reading most of the cases I'm reading dental books, or not dental. I'm talking dental management books or general business books. Yeah, so podcasts. You go to Amazon, you listen to the reviews, you read the reviews of the books. So
That's how you just find the
books,
source
yeah.
of inspiration to read a new book.
Right.
What would you how would you describe your leadership style, and has it helped your business grow? What kind of a leader are you would say?
So that has also evolved over the period of time. I would say you change with the times. So when you started off, you're a very hands-on leader. You want to hand everything control. You're a control freak. You're trying to control everything, and then it slowly the business starts growing, and then you realize you're going crazy trying to control everything, and then you understand you have to let go things. You need to let your managers. You need to trust them. So then you slowly step back, and then when things go wrong, then you step in. Then I won't say it's just one kind of leader. You can't be completely switched off and say, okay, I'm going to let them run the whole show. It doesn't happen because I've tried it and I've faced the consequences. You have a wrong person running something, and you have to step back in. So I'm a mixture of both. I like to know what's happening on the business, even the smallest details, like any patient complaints. What is there? I have my kind of like a dashboard where I know the pulse of what's happening in every clinic, but I won't get myself involved in those. But if I have to, I will. So I'm a mixture of both.
Why Go Dental? Like you already have so many Dr. Joy dental clinics. Where was the need for another brand?
Yeah, because Go Dental was in the area where it was a little more for economically, middle sector patients, and that's what we thought. Not every person can come to Go Dr. Joy Dental clinics, so that's why we created that brand, and we've got 2 branches of that. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned about Go Dental as. How do you guys? I'm sure you have revenue goals for the
Yeah.
whole brand and for the branches. And how do you guys manage? Because there's so many, and Dubai is small per se. It's like how many in UAE is 10 million population.
Yeah.
Out of we are all connected, and now there's there's a Dr. Joy clinic every 5 kilometers from Dubai,
almost. Yeah,
from old Dubai to new Dubai, if I say.
that's true. Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Aren't these businesses competing with each other in a way? Or no? There's
Yeah.
enough for every business wherever they are?
You mean within our group?
Yeah, within just Dr. Joy group. And there are
Yeah.
your competition.
Yes,
So I would like to
yeah.
even touch upon that. How is
Right.
competition affecting the business? And
Right. Yeah, I mean, there are so many clinics, you know that. You go down the road, you'll see 100. But because of our brand image and the name and the marketing we do, I think we're pretty good. And I don't see any competition between our own branches, For
No?
us, whether they go to this branch or the other branch is the same for us, ultimately.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we don't think that's a problem for us. And our branches are not very close, except for a few branches which are in the same vicinity, yeah.
So how do you decide, like, for example, your next branch should be how far away? Like, what are the decision factors of where to open the next branch? Or you have a goal that I want to be like 15 branches or something like that?
Honestly, we never had a goal so far. It's just been one after the other, just going by the roll, and we just find a good location. Someone says, "Yeah, this is a good location."
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not been very closely thought about in advance, but right now we're thinking about it. We need to have a better flow, to decide where we need to open branches and all that.
Yeah.
Probably out of Dubai, some other Emirates or something. We're looking at
Maybe expanding into other Middle Eastern countries. How about
Yeah,
Saudi
maybe,
Arabia? That's an
maybe.
emerging
Yeah,
market.
Yeah, I've got many people asking me about Saudi. But then, you need to decide about do you want to do
How far
it?
you want to stretch.
Yeah, and is it worth it? Ultimately, it's not just growth, isn't it? You need a peace of mind also. You need to
That's
live
the main.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
That's the main.
Right.
And that was my next question actually. How do you manage work-life balance? Like being an entrepreneur is demanding, having so many branches, having 350 people, all these responsibilities, sales targets, growth, so much.
Yeah.
How do you manage? How do you balance your life with work?
No, I mean, being an entrepreneur is not easy. Let me be at least for me.
For any-
Yeah. So everything looks good at the end from outside, but you know the struggles you go through, and it's not plain sailing all the time. So that's why I said it's so important that I reached a point when I realized that is it worth it of my time and effort and the stress you go through it. And the balance is you try to find balance, right? Like I said, you buy back your time. You're like deciding that let me just find time for myself. Otherwise, you're gonna pay back somehow, right?
On health, yeah.
On health, your mental health, your physical health,
Your
everything.
relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. So initially, it was one crazy struggle, and you sacrifice a lot to build up the business, and you can't do without that. You can't build something that is worthwhile as a business unless you sacrifice something of your relationship time or anything. But then now you reach a stage and you say, now I've got to enjoy the fruits of my labor. What's the point? And just keep doing it. Isn't
Exactly.
it? So that's why I'm in a stage now where I'm more trying to, find time for myself. Do some other activities. And
Yeah. What other hobby? Do you have any hobbies?
Yeah, I play a bit of sport when I can, and then watching movies.
What sports do you play?
I mean, I used to play cricket a lot before.
Right.
Yeah, now I don't find time for cricket. We play a bit of badminton, some of
Nice.
those things shuttled, yeah.
Yeah, I really believe in having a sport in life. I'm a cyclist. I cycle every day. And like you rightly said, you have to put in so much hard work. There was a time when we as an agency, I had India team and Dubai office and juggling to...
Yeah.
it was so much
That's true.
that I had no
Just-
personal life.
Yeah.
Zero. I had no time for myself. The mind is always running,
That's
getting up, and I don't know where the day disappeared.
Exactly.
And then years disappeared.
Yeah.
That's when I realized, oh my God, what's happening? Why am I doing this? For what? For who?
Yeah.
And then you also start thinking, how much is enough?
That's right. After a certain point, it doesn't give you happiness, isn't it? I mean, you're just accumulating, assets, and for what?
Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you have to live them also in this lifetime,
Yeah.
right? And that is
So last 2 years back, I was very unhealthy, overweight, and all that. So I said enough is enough. Then I've been trying to, physical fitness, going to the gym regularly, and all that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
It does come on your health if you don't pay attention
Absolutely.
to how you are managing your work as well as your personal life.
Absolutely.
Is there a time that when your vision for the business clashed with the reality of running it? Did it
Sorry?
ever happen that you had a vision that, okay, in 5 years, I'll have 15 Dr. Joy Dental Clinics. But when you thought of actually executing it, you're like, oh my God, my vision is great. But to reach there, I have to do this. So was there a time whenever this happened? Like, did you have a vision of how many number of clinics you're going to open?
To be honest, I never had that kind of a goal. I never had sat and said, okay, I need to have so many clinics.
Then how did you decide? Like, what was
yeah.
the goal? What was the vision?
Earlier, because I told you when I was practicing, I was so busy with practice, and I was just, okay, let's open one clinic here. It was just ad hoc, and it was not a planned process,
Yeah.
It was all me. But now, since stepping back, yes, now I have a kind of a goal. Okay, in the next 2 years, we should do this. This is what our plan is for the next 3 years. We have some kind of plan.
Yeah.
That's what I said, because when you're not an entrepreneur, you don't go to business school or something. You're just flying by your seat of your pant, because someone says that there's a good location there. Why didn't you open a clinic? Okay, let me open a clinic.
Yeah.
It's not very planned.
Random decisions. What is driving your vision now? So what is in the vision now? And how are you choosing what? Like, now you have reached at a place.
Yeah.
What to... Sometimes, like, for example... then you're on a path road, like, what should be my vision? Have you ever felt like that? Like, where should I go further now from here? Now I have this much.
That's true.
What else I need now? So how do you guide yourself?
Yeah, so the goal is not to expand just for the sake of expanding, and the goal is to make sure that the clinics we have run well. The reputation is always maintained, quality, and then yes, we will probably open as and when we get the opportunity 1 or 2 clinics, But we're not in the process of just we need to open 10 clinics in the next year. We don't want that.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider going to a business school after having all these business? Now you have so many. You are a proper entrepreneur now. Did it ever come to your mind to actually do an MBA?
Yeah, in fact, I online, of course.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
but I, in fact, almost signed up for that. And then, I just couldn't find the time, and I said I couldn't do it.
It's so interesting. I'm myself going through that.
Really?
And I
You're
was
going?
actually thinking that maybe I should get an executive MBA or something, because I'm a commerce graduate, and business is in the blood. My father is a businessman, and we come from a business family. As a growing up child, I was told jobs are not allowed in our family. Either stay at home or come to office.
Okay.
That was the option given to me.
Right.
So it was only business or nothing. So there's no formal education of running a business, but just know how to sell and how to give service and whatever. I was always passionate about digital and web and marketing, and that's how I got into it. My father was into different businesses and stuff. So it's crossing my mind as well. And maybe it's a good idea to give myself a formal education. And then I also want to, because I'm into marketing, I'm thinking maybe I should also get a degree in mass media. Then I think I have to stop business and just study. So I'm choose
maybe it's easier to hire someone with an MBA.
I have people who have MBAs. My team is going through their MBAs.
Right, there you go. So that's better.
It's sometimes you want to, what is it that you wonder, what am I missing out on?
That's why I said there's only so many hats you can wear, right?
Yeah.
You can't be everything.
You can't be everything. You need to know what.
Yeah, you need to get people who are more talented than you to get things done better than you. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. If there's one thing you would like to change, one decision, is there anything you would like to change and go back and while growing your business? And what would it be and why? Any one thing you can think of that if you should have done this differently, this would be a different, good or bad, both if you can share. If you didn't do this, you wouldn't be there. And if you did this, you would be there.
Yeah. I mean, nothing major, but then, of course, you always have some decisions where you thought, oh, I should have taken that location. And then later on, you go there and it's not available anymore. And you said, oh, now look at that place. It's roaring. So these kind of things happen in life, right? So nothing but major.
Missed opportunities.
Missed opportunities. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, but then you would have one more clinic, which means more people.
Yeah.
And you're in this cycle.
That's true.
So, Dr. Joy, what is this one skill you say you would have, you have as a business owner in this business?
Yeah. So I think I am a good problem solver. You know, I think I've kind of developed that skill over this period of time that I can solve issues that my team comes at, any kind of roadblocks, and I love it. You know, so I've realized that my mind is pretty sharp in that if we have a problem, how do we solve it? And how do we find a way out? Because in business, we always, there are so many problems, isn't it?
Yeah.
So finding a problem, solving it, that is one of my key. The second key is my attention to detail. I am a very detail-oriented person. So I like to go into details. This is something also I've learned from the past. When people promise you, you know, this is done, that is done. But I like to go into the real details to see that things are done properly. Yeah.
Interesting. Is there a particular way you interview people? Do you have like a structure or a system? Like the guest before you, we were just actually talking about interviewing skills and how to have people based on your values.
Yeah. So I've learned this also by my experience in hiring people and interviewing. So earlier what happens is that you have a position which you're looking to hire someone, and then you get a number of candidates which are shortlisted by the HR. Then you see this guy or a lady who's fantastic, has fabulous skills, and you say, oh, wow, I want this person. And then you realize that you are taken away so much by the personality of that person, where actually they won't be fitting what you really need for that role. You know, understand? So the role has to be so clearly defined that what are the attributes you need for the role. This is something I learned now. And when you see this person, maybe they're great. They're a great speaker. They're a great, you know, they have a
how to carry
aura,
themselves. Yeah,
amazing. But that role doesn't require that. Probably is a very detail-oriented, someone who's good at accounts, or someone who's good at some other skill, which is more important. And then you hire this person, and after some time you realize it's not a good fit. So now what I do is when I hire, I tell my HR, I want exactly the attributes you need for the position. You know, so that when we have a person, when we interview, we just see, is this person matching this?
Yeah.
So there's so many candidates now I turned away from, even when the manager said, oh, they're good. I said, okay, they're good for that, but are they good for this? The attributes we want?
Yeah.
So that's
that
how
comes with the experience of failing at wrong hires.
And the other thing is now with the hiring is now there's a saying like hire slow and fire fast.
Yeah.
So
do you believe in that?
I believe in that because if you hire someone's fast and then you're stuck with that person, isn't it? So I really spend time. I sometimes meet them twice. Some dentists, I even call them another time in the coffee shop or once in the office, just to know what exactly they are. Because once you hire them, they're part of your team. It's not easy to get them out, is it? And fire fast, sometimes you have these people who one bad apple can spoil the whole thing. Yeah, so they can completely vitiate the atmosphere and even affect the whole team. So if I find something like that, it's better to get rid of that person, you know. So these are all things that you learn with experience.
As going on the job.
Yeah.
Interesting. If you had to give one advice to your younger self, what would it be?
I would say, don't stress too much about the things that you think will happen, because trust me, I mean, I found out that 80 to 90% of the thing never happens like you think it would, isn't it?
The fears.
The fear, yeah. You think you spoil your present by thinking so much about the future, and then later on you realize it was just worthless worrying, isn't it? I think that's it.
Are you into? You believe in spirituality? Are you religious?
Yes. I'm not religious in the sense I was a very religious, Christian kind of thing. Now I'm kind of a more universal. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting. It was
Yeah.
fun talking to you, Dr. Joy. You have achieved so much and so well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
To much more, to a better future, to a further growth.
Thank you.
If somebody wants to visit Dr. Joy Dental Clinics, I'm sure they are everywhere, all around the city.
Yes.
And we will be also sharing the links to your website and other social media links in the description below. I hope you enjoyed the interview as much as I did. If you have any questions from Dr. Joy, feel free to post them in the comments below from whichever channel you're listening to. Thank you for watching or listening. Until the next episode.
Thank you.